Buying commercial property. So, about 7 years ago, I decided that I wanted to invest in my own property to work out of. And I pretty much had been renting for a very long time. I had rented spaces, I had rented buildings, I rented, several different locations. And I got to the point where I wanted to, invest my money. So that really was the decision that I made. I wanted to purchase property instead of continue renting. Now, the driving force for me as far as purchasing my commercial property was the fact that I was going to one day have to retire. And I needed another investment so that when the time came, I was able to do so comfortably. So that to me was perfect. I was already paying rent, so I might as well go ahead and purchase my own property, start to invest in it, and once it was time for me to retire, it was going to be paid for, and I could either sell it and live off the money, or I can rent it out and live off the money. So for me, it was a win-win situation. It didn't matter which way it went, I was still going to win because it was an investment. Now, when you first decide that you want to buy commercial property, you're going to have to find a location. Your location needs to be easy access for you as well as your clients. You have to have a location that your clients can get to. Do not buy a property that is hidden or that is hard to find. Find something that is really easy to get to and really easy to find. Find something with parking. Find something with plenty of windows so that you can have natural light. Find something that suits your needs. So that was the biggest thing for me. I needed the perfect property that suited me, because here's the thing, I was going to be here for years and years to come, because it wasn't a lease anymore. It was a mortgage. And I was going to have to pay that mortgage and have to stay there for as long as I was going to have my business thriving. And that was just the bottom line. I needed somewhere where I was comfortable, that was safe, plenty of lighting, and the building had to work for me. So I started to look around. As I started to look around, in the back of my mind, my first thoughts was I wanted to find something that had already operated as a beauty salon. The reason why I wanted something that had previously operated as a beauty salon is because, first of all, that was the business that I was going into, because that was the business I was already in. Well, I wanted to find something that had previously operated as a salon, because in the beginning, when you move into a building, you're going to have plumbing, you're going to have electrical work. I did not want to spend a lot of money. I wanted something that was turnkey. I wanted something that I could set up within a month or two and I would be ready to work. So I started to look around for places that I knew had already been a salon, and I started to reach out to realtors and ask, did they have salons available for sale? Well, I found one. I found a building, which is this building that I'm in, that was for sale at the time. And I talked with the realtor. She gave me, the price of the building. And I thought about it for a little while because the price to me was a little steep. So I went back to her and I asked her, was the owner willing to rent? So she said, I don't think so, but I will ask. So I was like, fine. Couple days later, she got back with me and she said to me, she said, the owner is willing to rent it, but only for 1 year. That worked for me because here is the thing. I wanted to get to know the location. In the state that I'm in, inspection for closing is not required. So I was thinking, well, if I'm here working, I can do my own inspection, or I can have my inspection done a little bit at a time. Now, I don't advise you not to get an inspection before your closing, but this is the way I did it. I did it that way because I really wanted to get to know the building. When you first walk in any building that is for sale, it's beautiful. You love it. But when you work out of it or you live out of it, you get to know it. So that was important for me. I wanted to get to know the place. I wanted to know whether the water pressure was up to par. I wanted to know whether or not the electricity was up to par. I wanted to know if the air conditioner was working. I wanted to know the condition of the roof, but I wanted to know how well were they gonna last during that year. So as I worked in here for that year, I pretty much got to know the place, and that is a decision that I do not regret. So I'm going to advise you, if you're going to purchase commercial property, try to negotiate with the owner and see if they are willing to rent first, because you want to get to know the space. Now, as I told you, I tried to find somewhere that was already a salon because, like I said, that was the business that I was in. And sure enough, I found this place. It was a salon. I was able to fix it up, and it took me a month. So in a month, I was operating in this space. So let me back up a minute. It was time for me to sign the lease because let's remember, I did agree that I wanted to rent it for 1 year. So when it was time for me to sign that lease, in that lease, it had a stipulation that I was supposed to purchase that building in a year. I would rent it out for only 1 year. And after that year, I promised to purchase it. Well, in that stipulation, I added that I would purchase it as long as it was in the state that it was in when I leased it from the very first day I obtained the building. As long as it was in the state that I obtained it, then I would purchase it. And the reason why I put that in there was because had I already signed a contract to purchase the building and it burned down, it was not in the state that I got it in. Had I signed the contract that I would purchase it and the roof caved in, it was not going to be in the same state that I got it in. So that was a stipulation that I made sure that I put in the lease, that as long as the building stood as it was, the structure and the inside, everything had to be exactly the way I received it in the beginning. Because if anything was to happen, I did not want to be responsible because I already signed an agreement that I would purchase it. No. So if you're going to rent something, make sure you try to put that stipulation in it if you're going to rent it to purchase it. So that's all I'm going to give y'all today. I'm going to come back and I'm going to finish the story because it's a long story, but that's just the first video that I'm going to do. I'm going to break up this in many, many parts because like I say, it is a long story, but just to review, find something that has easy access to you and your clients that you are going to purchase because you're going to be there forever. Make sure it is a good investment, because you want to set yourself up for the future. because it's an investment. So you want to set yourself up for the future. Now, and the next thing is find something that existed as the business that you are you looking to open. You want something that is a turnkey. That way you don't have to invest a whole lot of money into it in the beginning. And make sure if you're going to purchase it, make sure you have a stipulation in your lease agreement saying that when it's time for purchase, that building is in the same condition that you got it in. Now, if you tear up the building, that's on you. You know, you're going to have to work that out. So as long as that building is in the same position, the same structure, in the same position, the same shape that you got it in, you will move forward in purchasing it. So once I got all that together, I started moving in. Like I say, it took me about a month to move in. And for 1 year, I worked it. And I learned the place. I got to know where everything was. The water pressure was fine. The electrical system worked great. The roof did not cave in. Nothing burned down. Everything. The air conditioner was working. See, those are the things that you have to get to know when you are going to purchase commercial property, because it is very different from purchasing a home. The whole situation is different. So you want to take your time in making that decision, but make sure in your lease you have certain stipulations to fit you and to protect you. Okay, so that's all I'm going to leave y'all with today. Find your commercial property. Now, next time we're probably going to go in, a whole lot more other things, because like I say, this is a long story, but I don't want to dump everything off on you today. So if you are going to invest in commercial property, start looking now. Okay. And my story will be able to help you in making your deal and finding your property. And actually, in the end, which we'll get to eventually, I did not put a dime down. I actually ended up leaving with a very small check, which helped me put down on my insurance. But we're going to talk about that another time. And I will be back. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will see y'all later. And if you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe so that you can get the rest of this story, okay? Y'all have a good day, and I'm going to tell y'all, see y'all later. Bye.